let's put everything into perspective here. What's the context? We're talking about decisions that are taken in a very specific context, which is the context of combating this pandemic. Now, Adalbert has just explained once again what the decision-making mechanisms are, which are underlying that decision-making process for this particular topic. So you've said, does the European Commission realise what the impact of this decision is, and could the European Commission not just do otherwise? Well, that would be tantamount to ignoring this institutional process, that the fact that there is a framework, that there are norms and rules which give each institution a different responsibility. And I think it's important for us to understand quite clearly that on the one hand we have the enlargement dossier, and on the other hand we have combating the pandemic. Now, bringing those two together as if they were one and the same thing is a major mistake. The European Union, and the European Commission in this case, and the President of the European Commission herself, has stated just how important this enlargement process is and how important it is to make progress on it. We are currently in a pandemic situation, and as a result of that, there are mechanisms for decision-making relating to freedom of movement, which is what Adalbert was describing. So we are not in a position to just disregard those mechanisms and impose, for a different set of reasons, i.e. political perception, which is what you were talking about, taking decisions that would be counter to that whole mechanism. So the Council reassesses the situation on a fortnightly basis, every 2 weeks, in order to determine which countries might be added to the list. If I could just add one further point of context, which I do think is really quite important, it's the following. We are not in any way putting a question mark over our commitments to the Western Balkan countries, in particular when it comes to visa-free travel. Not at all. We are simply trying to contain this pandemic, which is still endangering the population despite progress in healthcare and vaccination. Let's call to mind that even within the European Union itself, there are still restrictions on free movement, and there are border checks that are in place currently as a result of the pandemic. So it's absolutely not that we are trying to create a situation in which the citizens of the Western Balkans are being treated less favourably than the health situation might well allow. But the European Union is paying very close attention to the needs that underlie the need to contain the pandemic, to do that as quickly as possible, to not jeopardise in any way the headway that has been made thanks to the vaccination campaign, so that as quickly as possible we get into a situation where we can get rid of all of the restrictions that were brought in the wake of the pandemic, so that we can allow everyone to take advantage of the travel opportunities that exist both inside the European Union and also with the partner countries with whom we have abolished the need for a visa. So it's really just a waiting game, it's a matter of patience, and it depends on the progress in the vaccination campaign. Thank you, Adalbert. Are there any other questions for Adalbert today on freedom of movement?